years, French wine has been dominating the dinner parties and the auction rooms of Hong Kong. Words like Bordeaux and Burgundy have become synonymous with taste and part of our general vernacular. But now many savvy Hong Kongers are turning their attentions and their wallets to Italian wine. From the best Super Tuscans like Sassicaia and Ornellaia right through to Barolos and Barbarescos, this country's reds and whites are seducing collectors across the globe. Over the next 48 hours, Hong Kong Tatler and James Suckling dive into the best of the boot with some of Italy's most famous wine producers and some of Hong Kong's most notable connoisseurs. Welcome to Great Wines of Italy. Okay, Lamberto, you're from a very famous Italian wine-growing family, the Frescobaldi's, 30th generation. How important is that family heritage as you make wine today?
Famous, you said it yourself, so I wouldn't say it myself, but it's a known, it's a historic family, and wine, it's really part of our lives since many generations.
So is it true that the Frescobaldi family used to trade their wine for Michelangelo's paintings?
Because all of these great artists, they were raised in Florence. The great thing is that my ancestors kept the records of all the invoices, all the expenses, everything, and we yet have them, and we actually see these great names from Michelangelo to Donatello to Henry Day. All of these people have been, my family have been dealing with.
Jacopo, so many people talk about Super Tuscans being their favourite type of Italian wine. What makes a Super Tuscan so special?
The Super Tuscans signed a kind of revolution in 1970s, 80s for Italian wine, especially for Tuscany. So they are still recognized as icon wines from Italy because they were among the first wines to be recognized for their quality. Until that moment, Chianti was the only reference for as a wine from Italy, outside of Italy, and was not really a reference for quality. So when Tignanello, Solaia, Sassicaia were created, they brought a kind of revolution.
Of course, the Super Tuscans use a percentage of Cabernet Sauvignon, which is a Bordeaux varietal. Do you think that will make them an easy jump for Asian palates? Because as we know, French wines and Bordeaux has been particularly popular here.
Absolutely, yes. The French did a great job, so they customized the Asian palate to Cabernet, to Merlot, to round, soft grapes. And having some of these grapes in our blends definitely helps the consumers also to identify the grapes. Italian grapes are so many. Sangiovese sometimes, for what regards Tuscany, is very acidic, very dry, and generally if you're not an expert drinker, you don't want something too acidic and dry to start with.
Francesca, Sicilian wines are gaining more and more credibility these days. Can you talk to me a little bit about the rise of Sicilian wine?
Well, the great thing of Sicily is that it's I could say, wine continent. We have more than 20 different local varieties and different terroirs from Menfi, Etna, Noto that have that can give a totally different style to each wine. Of course, there are wines that grow in a warm country because Sicily of course is warm, but you don't feel that sort of warm identity of maybe other parts of the New World.
Federico, you make some spectacular Chianti Classicos. What makes the Fontori Terroir so special?
We are in Panzano in Chianti. It's really a small village between Florence and Siena. We are in the south of that village, and we have a valley called Conca d'Oro, Golden Basin, Golden Shell. And the shape is like an amphitheater with fantastic south sun exposure. So every day we have a lot of sun, a lot of lights. This allows for a wine with a great structure, great richness.
So Vincenzo, one of your wines that has been served here today scored 100 points. James Suckling scored at 100 points. Tell me about that wine.
We work a lot in the vineyard. So we try to work a lot to respect the balance of our place, the balance of the nature. And we produce a wine for the place. So we try to be a simple translator from the vineyard in a bottle of wine. In Tuscany we are lucky because we have a grape, Sangiovese, that is very sensitive. So it has a great and a strong connection with the place. And in this way we have the possibility to produce our special wine. With Sangiovese we are not in competition with French wines because in France they hasn't Sangiovese. And we can produce a great wine, unique.
Tell me a bit about Marchesi di Barolo. What makes your terroir and your wines unique?
Well, I think you said the right thing, terroir. That is what makes Barolo so unique and special all over the world. It's such a small village. Barolo is a village of 600 people, so super, super tiny. But the wines that we have there are famous all over the world. They call Barolo the king of wines in Italy because it's so powerful, so rich, and you definitely cannot have it anywhere else. And that is because I believe of the soil and the microclimate that we are there and the passion of the winemakers. Barolo was born because of a love story in between the Marchesa di Barolo, she was originally from France, and the Marquis of Barolo. So she came in Barolo as a bride for this guy. And she didn't like the wines were made at the time in the 1800s. So she asked the winemaker, together with some other very influential people in the area, they started making Barolo back in the 1800s. And this happened in our winery.
Do you think this is just the start of the love affair with Italian wines for people in Asia?
I hope so. I mean, I spent the last 6 years of my life planting seeds around Asia, and I hope these seeds will blossom into beautiful flowers. And we see that there is a lot of attention now, especially in Hong Kong. China is still far away. We're still 7% of the imported wine, and but Hong Kong is definitely blossoming.
Well, that's it from us here at Great Wines of Italy. Stay tuned for more in our Great Wine series. But for now, salute and arrivederci.